Welcome to That's What We Think with Connie and Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'm not going to keep doing that every episode beginning. I have to stop.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe that's going to
Oh,
be your
I know.
signature. Hello, hello,
Well,
hello.
no, no, no. Did I not say in the episodes prior about learning Italian? So,
You did.
buongiorno, Connie e Concetta. Oh, God, that
Come
was horrible.
stai?
That was horrible. I'm so bad. Sometimes what sounds good in your head does not sound good out loud.
No, it sounded perfectly fine.
Oh,
You did
God,
very
God,
well.
please. Well, I do it's been in the back of my head about studying and trying to get better at it. And there's lots of tools obviously online that you can do that,
Yep.
and I do
And
participate. I
apps.
usually Oh, yeah. But I always seem to seem to end up more towards the swear words because that's how you're supposed to learn.
That's how many languages do you know of swear words?
Well, there's French, I know I know that. One at the beginning with the T word, but I won't say that. But, um,
Oh, now
but
it's running through my head.
right? But, I do wanna follow up on at least trying to fulfill that aspect is kinda it's still in the back of my head, and I really wanna do better at it, so forgive me, everybody, I'm not gonna use you guys as my guinea pigs for my terrible Italian, but do not be shocked if it comes up every once in a while. And this
Swear words?
well, no, that's
They
happened a
might.
few times already.
Mava.
But
There's more to that little sentence.
and this, which kinda leads into the segment is just about learning, and more importantly, learning at the kitchen table, and,
And
for a
all
lot of
the things that happen at the kitchen table, because the kitchen table is like the hub.
it's the heart. It
Yes.
is. It's for a generation of us who, especially suburban kids, or rural kids of us that grew out, or even city kids, it doesn't matter. When we were
Uh-huh.
growing up as Gen Xers, a lot of the things that we did happened centered around the kitchen table. And although it's not as ubiquitous now, back then, almost every home had an eat-in kitchen, a kitchen table
Yes.
that was in the kitchen. I know it's a weird concept now with this whole open concept,
A kitchen
but
table. There's still a table that
inside? No, not as much.
you
Like,
don't think?
I think that a lot of people have those bars now, like,
True, like
w
at the island.
at the island.
Yes. Yeah, when we
So
were looking at houses, there were a lot of houses that they had like a giant island and then bar stools on the one side, which would essentially be their kitchen table.
which in turn makes me think it's a very different atmosphere compared to sitting around a table, compared to
Right, because 'cause you're
standing.
not facing each other.
That's right. And it was, again, as we just said earlier, it was the hub. It was a
Yeah.
place where that's where if you had homework, that's where generally you would sit and have your
Yep.
parents yell at you.
Projects.
Projects. Um, of course, you'd have family events and food. Usually in my house, whenever it was family events, that was the kids' table, and the parents would sit in the dining room. And oh my God, I love that. That was the
Did
best
you?
time. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Because we would have our own conversation. We would have so much fun and we didn't care what the parents were doing.
Yeah.
That's them.
Yeah.
We
We
loved
I
it.
loved it too, but at the same time, I did so at my grandparents' house, we would have the kitchen table where all of us cousins would sit around,
Yeah.
but then eventually we got older, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so my grandmother would just add an extra table to the end of the dining room table, and it just became this long table filled with all of us,
Yeah.
and I love that. I love that so much that that is how I do, um, family gatherings, right? When
Yes.
it's a big sit down dinner, I just add an extra table to the end of the dining room table, and we all sit together as opposed to having the kids sit in a separate spot.
Yeah. And I understand that now more and more since my partner's Italian and I've learned so much more just about how everybody would sit together. It would
Mm.
not be separated. And
And
there's
the young kids and the old people, everyone has part of the conversation
That's right.
and inputs their opinions,
It's right.
which is
However,
probably where this stemmed from.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's an interesting it took a while for me to get used to it
Yeah,
because I didn't grow up that way, and it's not to say that that one situation is better
no,
than the other, it's just
no,
different.
different.
So, when you have kids piping in about subjects where you're just like, what's happening?"
Yeah,
But now I love it. I mean, it's especially now that my nieces and nephews are getting older, and their their experiences and their perceptions and their own opinions about what's going on in the world, and it's fascinating.
yeah.
It's really, really
Well, because
cool.
you have a younger generation
Oh,
with
yeah.
a differing opinion that, is nice. It's kind
Yeah.
of refreshing as opposed to just what the old people think,
That's
right?
right. But again, it's not to denigrate what it was like when you just had just kids. And when
Yes.
it's just kids, it's messy, it's silly and stupid, and it just what kids are about. And for
Yeah.
us, for us.
Yes.
And with our cousins when we're all around there, it's just this world that you build centered in this one table, this one spot. So Connie and I are just gonna be talking about
The kitchen table.
especially from our generation's perspective. Now, I don't know, Con can say this because she's got the whole kitchen table set up, even in her own kitchen.
Actually, so, right now, since we moved,
Yep.
we don't have a kitchen table
What?
because so we got rid of our kitchen table that we had in the other house
Oh, I didn't know
because
that. Okay.
yeah, because the stagers
Oh,
put their kitchen table in. So we were like, it was an old kitchen table. It was like filled with paint and nail polish and
love
everything that
that kitchen
happens
table.
around the kitchen table, right?
Yeah, that's history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did get rid of it.
Okay.
Somebody we put it on the end of the driveway and somebody took it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Um, and I've been waiting since we moved into this house for our kitchen table to be delivered from Leon's. And for some odd reason, they said 8 to 10 weeks that it would take for our table to arrive. And,
Wow.
and I'm like going, I could have had a custom one
You
made
could have.
for that amount of time. And I don't know why. I think it was just because I was like, so, okay, we need a table, whatever. And I didn't question the why is it taking 8 to 10 weeks for this kitchen table to arrive? And my husband was like, couldn't you just ask for the floor model? Which, I mean, they
Oh,
don't always do, but
right.
still, I was just so we have not been eating at the kitchen table. We've been kind of eating at the
At
island
the
or eating
island.
in the family room,
Yeah.
kind of just like all over the place, which is
Is it weird?
discombobulating.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, when you have built your world, your the 17 years that you lived in the previous house, and then all of a sudden not having it,
Yeah,
it must be, like, psychologically, that's just like, whoa. It is, I'm sorry, maybe you may not understand that because they're used to eating at the bar or breakfast
right.
bar or sitting somewhere else. Because a lot of families do that now, I understand that,
Yeah,
that's
where
the
they sit
changing
side by
times.
side as opposed to facing each other.
Right, as we said. But when you've done it that way, where you're all sitting at the table together, it is a very different mindset. It is. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel it doesn't f I never understood why designers started to remove that part from the kitchen. I
I
don't
think it
understand
has
that.
I actually think it has a lot to do with there's a lot of people who aren't having family dinners. They're not eating dinner together as a family. Johnny has hockey at this time and Susie has here, using like
Oh my
1970s
god,
names.
Johnny and Susie. What?
I don't
No one's named
know.
Johnny and Susie anymore, I love it. Oh my god, we're showing our age here.
I
That's funny.
know.
Johnny and
But they have
Susie.
soccer on this day. They have piano at this piano lesson here. They have dance recitals here. All of those events take place at dinner time for whatever reason, which is the quote unquote dinner time, which is, between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m., right? So nobody's sitting around the table anymore. They're all eating at different times.
Totally.
And there's a lot of people that I know,
Yeah.
and I don't like this personally. If it works for you, that's fine, whatever.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that I know that make a meal for the kids, and it's kid food, meaning chicken nuggets and those Smile French fry processed food for
Yeah.
the kids,
Yeah.
maybe some carrot sticks and celery as their healthy vegetable part, and then the adults have their dinner after where it's real food.
Oh, oh,
I Yeah,
oh,
after the all the events that the kids are going to and everything, and then they go to bed, and then they have their actual real meal. I
wow.
I think it's weird.
Okay. And, uh, but we're again, with this that's I understand that there's a lot of people out there that do not have the time to deal with kids that are going to be making a big fuss over what they're eating, so it's probably easiest. I get that. I understand that. That is not
I
how I
don't.
grew up at all.
No.
I
It's not
did
how I grew up,
not.
and it's not how I raised my kids, so I
No,
don't
no.
understand it at all. I don't get the whole, "Oh, well, they're not eating
Do
this,"
you think
and
maybe they can't cook? Or something? Maybe they don't like the food that they're
I don't
cooking?
know. Or I think it's I'm not
No?
gonna
What
say
is
what I
it,
think it
Con? What
is.
do you think it
It's
is?
laziness. I
Okay.
do, I think it's they're lazy to not wanna make a real meal and lazy to not wanna have to parent your kids to tell them that, "No, you have to eat this food." I know it sounds harsh, and it's me being very judgy. So what? I'm a judgy person.
Fair enough. Like, this is like, we call this the kitchen table. This could be like I said earlier, what I was thinking of calling it was tears at the kitchen table, and
Yeah,
no doubt or tantrums at the kitchen table,
and that
and
happened.
oh, agreed, and
Oh
this
my
is
god, I remember at our kitchen table when we were kids.
Jaboo
My
would come
mom
in.
my
Sorry.
that only happened at mine when I had kids.
Yeah.
But my mom would make food, and we wouldn't like the meal that we'd be eating. She'd make things like liver and onions, and we would sit there for hours
Yeah.
with this food in our plate getting cold, which only tastes so much
Worse.
worse.
So much worse.
Especially liver and onions. When it's cold, it's, like, disgusting, and but we'd have to eat it. We'd be sitting there with it either in the side of our cheek or something
Oh my god, yes.
around the table,
Yeah.
and, all of us kids, I don't e I and my mom would just get fresh she'd be washing all the dishes except for ours,
Oh my
but
god.
there we'd sit like, the amount of tears
Oh,
that literally would go around that table because of us not wanting to eat, but we had to eat.
I wasn't like that, unfortunately. I
He
was the
ate
kid that ate
everything.
everything. Yeah, I told you this, where my mom would actually imitate me as a baby, try to eat everything. So it was very, very rare that Steve was crying at that kitchen table because I
Yeah,
ate what was in front of me. It was rare if mom made something that I didn't. Liver and onions came up, but she didn't do that often because I could still, to this day, taste that metallic flavor, but you ate
oh,
it. You could still you ate it. It's fine. I ate it. Very rarely did that. Marcia, on the other hand, was different, but
mm,
she was a little bit more less inclined to wanna eat that stuff. But
I don't blame her.
but for us, though, like, honestly, that table was a representation of the house. That's where you would go, like you said, to do your projects. And, or God, for me, the only distressing thing is I think harken back was math. And I can still see myself at that table getting so frustrated, and my mom or dad getting frustrated because it's just, what is it about the table and math
I
that seems to
know.
be associated with the kitchen table?
Yep,
It's just, I don't know. There's some sort of psychological thing that we're missing. I don't know. But I do know that it was always a place where I associate with good food or food and
and math.
horrible math, and horrible math.
I actually my older 2 actually, all 4 of them went to French immersion,
Yep,
So they would have dictée, which is their spelling tests,
yep.
and doing the spelling test around the table with them, and we would practice, and we'd practice, and we'd practice, and there would be tears and frustration and me trying to keep my calm.
Did it work?
Sometimes, not always.
When you think back.
Math was like a whole other thing, though. Math was especially with the new math, right?
Yeah.
And what's funny about it is I remember my dad saying, because he would be the one doing math with us, and he'd be like, "This is how you do it." And I'd be like, "No, that's
No.
not how the
No.
teacher told me how to do it." And so then when our kids went to school and they were having their math lessons, it was the same thing where they were learning, and I was like, do they keep on changing how they're teaching us how to do math? I mean, it should be simple math, right? Like, it shouldn't be, but I think it might be different every single time.
I realize math is a lot easier than what we make it out to be.
Yeah.
I mean, as a child, I didn't.
Well, basic math.
Yeah. I think when I think about that, I think if I was taught in a different way, it's snap. You get it. Like you're like, oh God, no wonder it's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Um, but back then, because everything is done as a one size fits all, it makes
Yes.
it much more difficult. So you're taking what you learned at school, and then your parents are learning it. Yes, like you said, a different version of it. So you're coming away with two different things, and you're both like, What's the right way? What do we
Yes.
do here?" Which is
Yep.
why there's tears at the table.
Yep. And the teachers wanted to see the work, and sometimes you could just do it without showing the work, but then that was wrong. It was a mess. Math is
Oh,
a mess.
it
And
is.
math at the kitchen table is messy.
Oh, it's and even like I mean, that's the only subject that I can think of that really was mostly done there. I think a lot of the projects that I do think about were mostly done in my room. But when it came to math, because you needed help,
Yeah.
it was a place to go for when you needed help. But for me, my memories just around the table are mostly joy because it
Oh, yeah.
involved food.
It
And
involved
I was gonna
Stephen's
be
favorite
fed,
topic,
my favorite
being fed.
subject. Oh my god. Even though I was a messy eater and my poor mom probably had to do a lot of cleanup afterwards because of me.
Oh my gosh.
I was so klutzy, I'd spill things and
That
drop
was Jack.
things.
I think that's a boy
Maybe it's
thing.
a
I
boy
think
thing.
because I used to joke and say he was like a puppy. He had like these giant hands that were way too big for his little wee arms. So he would spill things, and then underneath his chair was
Uh,
enough food that could have fed a whole other family.
I'm wondering if perhaps we should do, like, this whole thing even with your brother Paul to see what your mom would say about boys. My
Oh,
mom
I'm
too,
sure.
you know? But, yeah, I was the messy one,
Yeah.
and was Paul messy? Do you remember?
I don't remember,
No. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he was goofy.
Well, yeah,
Always,
oh,
like up until he moved out.
maybe it's
Even
just maybe you're
still.
right. I keep thinking about this. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is just a hormonal boy thing where we're just completely spazzy.
Yeah, like,
And
you don't have control over these mitts, they're like puppies.
but hungry too, like, it was just never enough, like, it just never
Yeah,
felt like it was enough food, even though there was plenty, but it just wasn't enough, and half of it, of course, ended up on your lap or on the bloody table,
yeah,
but that's mostly where my memories tend to center from, and even now, as I compare that life, it's it was the warmth of that spot just being there. That's where you would have conversations about what's going on. You
yeah,
would be asked, how's things at school?" It's actually surprisingly traditional, the more I think about that.
yeah.
It was a traditional type of setting, and I don't know if that sort of thing is still applicable. It is, but it's a very different type of tra tradition, I suppose, in terms of
I
how
don't know.
families interact. I mean, we're going back to the kitchen bar. I know, I'm sorry, but it's just it feels like you're interviewing, I would find, if you're a parent, standing in front of your children while they're sitting and eating at the bar. Like
And they're
it's
eating a totally separate meal than you too.
Which,
right?
again, I know that you said it
And
might be
and I also think it's like a hurry up and eat because we've got to go to
this or that or
the
the other.
arena or we have to go to the dance studio or we have to go to the I think there's a lot more of a rush to do everything, and I don't think that that is everybody, but I think it's a good majority of people
Well
that they don't have those, um, set like, the
mm,
family dinners, and I know that when Emily went to university, she had said that was one of the things she said that people don't eat together. They don't have family dinners.
right,
Right? They never
right.
did. They thought it was a strange concept when she would say, "Oh, we should do a family dinner where we all," and they kinda looked at her strange. And Evelyn has been saying the same thing. Um,
Yeah?
she has found her roommates that she's going to be with next year.
Mhm.
They actually all 3 of them do that. They grew up with family dinners, so their plan is that every night they're gonna
Sit down
make dinner
together.
together and
Yeah,
sit down
yeah.
as a quote unquote "family"
Family. Yep.
and have their meal together, which is
I
kind
think
of really
is
nice. I
wonderful.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really that warms my heart. Because
Yeah.
it's just it's sometimes it's the little things like that, like having a little
Yeah.
bit of home when you're starting off
Yes.
and leaving and starting your own life. Jim and I actually, sit at the dining room table when we're having our dinners, and it's easier, of course, to take your plate and go sit in the living room or whatever to watch TV,
But
but
it's
I
so
do think
awkward
I
trying to
don't like to
balance the
do that.
plate. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't like to do that because exactly of what you just said. It's and of course, thankfully, thanks to my lovely disability, it makes it even
Right.
harder to control to control that part of it. So having a center place where you can put your plate down and eat without worrying about
Mm.
dropping it is heaven. But I
Yes.
do think just having that little aspect of a home, and everybody's is going to be different. I know that. But
Yeah.
for some of us that did have that aspect of having everything around the kitchen table and bringing it on with you and passing it on as you continue on with your life, I love it. I am so that makes me happy to hear. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I feel like an 80-year-old. Yeah.
I know. Look at these
Look at these
youngsters
kids. Oh my
holding on
goodness.
to tradition.
Wait, I got a question though.
Uh-huh.
Who's doing the cooking? Or is it a
I think they
communal
all
thing?
are together. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's, they are all together doing cooking. Evelyn does a lot of cooking. She is constantly FaceTiming me and going, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna make," and will make food with me there,
Yeah,
helping and instructing and everything, right?
yeah.
And then she has another one of her friends who won't be rooming with them, but she's just like, "You need to teach me how to cook." Evelyn's becoming a really good cook, which
I
is
love it.
nice.
It's just do it
Yeah.
with her friends. I mean,
Yes.
Alex and I, when we lived together in university, we did that. We ate together.
Yeah.
We cooked together. We would eat together, and it was I don't know. It's you don't even think about it at the time,
Mm.
but when you did grow up that way, you do realize how nice it is just to kind of and in hindsight now you're like, this is actually pretty cool that we got to do that. Just a
Yeah.
little bit, and you weren't alone, which was nice. Just to, you get to share a
No, it's
meal and
nice to have that. There's something about sharing a meal.
totally.
I do know people that would sit around a table, and when they ate, it was quiet. There is no conversation.
Oh,
You just sit and you eat. My mom's uncle was very, very strict. There was no talking during dinner. And
oh.
my mom's family, my grandmother, my grandparents, and my aunts and uncles were not like that at all. They would be like this loud table where you're talking around and everyone's having a good conversation. So my mom would get into trouble every time she would go to the cousin's house because she would start talking and he'd be like, "There's no talking at the table." And she's
How
like,
sad is that?
it was terrible. And
It
my mom could
is.
not, I couldn't imagine just
Like,
sitting there but going back to the Sound of Music, remember
yeah.
when they're sitting there at the table and
Yes.
she's talking and he's like, "Are you always
Annoyed.
gonna,"
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's wanting it to be quiet and you sit there and you eat. and
Well,
that's your
that
task.
the old saying, "Children should be seen and not heard," is probably
Yes.
what was probably playing in a lot of people's homes back in the day. Not being able to laugh or share a joke
Oh my
or
gosh, I couldn't
even,
imagine.
or even just it's there's so many things that happen at that table. So many things that, like, I've forgotten conversations. Of course I would. I was just a kid and a teenager.
Oh,
Of course I
yeah.
would forget. But the fun stuff that you would share, the school stories, the good school stories, and of course maybe
Yeah.
some of the bad stories. It'd be the place where you would go to discuss the gossip. I'm sure mom and dad talked about stuff that I missed because I was a kid, or maybe they
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
Who knows? But even when you got older, yes, it was the gossip. It was the things that you
The
would share.
gossip
Oh,
is like
the stories. And the gossip didn't have to be about people you know. It'd be about sometimes family, and it was
Yeah,
great,
exactly.
you know. But it was, I think, a very special moment and a special time. And again, I can't. I don't know what goes on in other people's houses. However,
No.
when I've gone to, especially on Jim's side of the family, because there's a lot of family, some of the best conversations I've ever had have been around that table and having everybody there and
Yep.
everybody sharing conversations. And there are arguments and there are discussions and there is laughter. And it is just sometimes at first, when I first started, I was a little overwhelmed because of the sheer amount that was going on around me, and I
Right.
wasn't quite used to it. It's different when you're going from 3 to 16. And it but again, as I had said earlier in the podcast, it's wonderful to just hear so many different perspectives without it being overwhelming. It just
Right.
depends. I guess it just depends on whose family you're with or whatever it is. Maybe it is overwhelming for some, but I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I hope that other people get a chance and have that opportunity to have that in their house, to sit
Oh,
around the table.
yeah.
And I mean, even at your place, when we're all sitting around the table with Connie's fabulous stuffing, which still carries on. I swear to God, that stuffing is going to be its own section
It's
on our
gonna yep.
episode. I
Just
swear.
just an episode about the stuffing. I can make it and we
Oh,
can
she will be making it, everybody, when I go over there.
Yeah, I
I'm
will.
requesting it. I'm
I
requesting it.
will.
But also just the fact that, you know, being with the family and just absorbing what's going on with even with your kids and just hearing their
Yeah.
world. And it's really good. I think I find it too that from a psychological perspective, don't you find it's more comfortable for them to be able, like, just, I don't know how to explain this. You get to eat and you get to be with your family and share. And from a
Right.
psychological perspective, isn't that the best place to do that if you're in a
Yes.
comfortable environment
If
to
y
do
oh,
that?
of course, I think that goes without saying that you have to have the comfort and trust to know that whatever you're saying is going to be respected and understood amongst your family. But there's something about the kitchen table. It's not just a place where you eat.
Yeah,
It's a place you're playing board games,
that's right.
you're playing
Oh,
cards,
yeah. You're
you're
doing
just
all that stuff.
you're just sitting down and having a slice of pie. I remember sitting down and eating some kind of dessert or cake my mom had made while she's making dinner,
Yeah,
talking to her like that, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it was
I forgot about
just
cards and playing board games, you're right.
oh,
There's that
yeah.
part of it too, it wasn't just for food
No, it's
or
not
or
just for
projects or
food.
math, it was about that.
Yeah.
That was the other part of
Yeah.
the fun, that's right. What about, um, do you guys have placements? Do you know where you're supposed to sit? Is
Oh.
it's
The kids and this goes with everywhere that I sit.
Yeah.
My kids call me Sheldon
What?
from
Big Bang
The
Theory?
Big Bang Theory
Yeah,
because I have to sit
at
in
the
a
head?
certain spot. No,
Okay,
no, no, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the head of the table,
okay.
but I have a certain
Oh, like
spot
he did, yeah.
no matter where it is, whether it's the kitchen table or the family room or whatever, I have the spot, and if somebody is sitting in my spot, I stand there until they move.
Oh my god.
'Cause I'm needing to sit in that spot. I can't I feel too awkward sitting in another spot. It just doesn't feel right. So I s and they're like, "Okay, Sheldon,
Oh my
fine."
god. I can literally picture Connie standing there just staring at the person, not saying anything, hand on hip. Okay.
Yeah,
Why
they
is
know.
why? What is it
What
about
is
that
the spot?
spot? Yeah.
It's whatever the spot is, it's where I feel most comfortable, and I can't even explain it because it's not necessarily the head of the table
Oh,
or it's just it's the angle, I think, where I can see everything most comfortably, right?
now at the old place where you sat, Connie always sat she did sit at the head of the table on the one side and
Yes,
David
on
sat
the
on
one
the
side.
other,
Yeah,
and where she sat, though, was in proximity
easiest to
to
get to the
that's
kitchen.
right, easy to the
Yes.
kitchen, but also, easy to the stairs, easy to
Yeah,
the bathroom, easy to the front door. She sat
yep.
in a position where she had access to every angle of now it makes sense.
No matter where I need
There you
was needed.
go.
However, unless we extended that table. So if we extended that table so that that end where I would normally sit would
Yeah.
become the kids' end,
Oh,
and
okay,
I would sit on David's left.
okay. Oh, on the other end of the table?
On the other end of the table, I would sit, yeah, and
Huh.
then I would have to go all the way around, but, that's where I would sit if it was extended.
See, this is great. So from a psychological perspective, because again, that is an entirely the way that this place worked at our old place, that's not in a position where you're near everything. Like it's
Yeah.
very different. So
But it was easier for me from that side to get back to the kitchen than it would have been from the opposite side because the
right.
opposite side had the credenza and everyone, I'd have to like move around this way I had more space to move around.
That's interesting. Because
Yeah.
I know everyone may think this is crazy, but there's a weird sort of for a lot of families, when it comes to the dining room or even the kitchen table or wherever they are, there is the placement. It's not official, but you just knew that that's where you sit. For example, when we were growing up in our dining room, mom and dad sat at the ends of the table, mom sitting closer to the window and dad at like the head sitting closer towards the living room,
Family room, the
and
living
Marcia
room.
and I sat across from each other. And the same formula was with the kitchen table. It was the same scenario, but my back was always to the wall. Always.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, so for when we sat across Marcia sat across from each other, my back would be to the wall. So in the dining room, it would be the credenza or would be
Right.
behind me, or in the kitchen, it would just be the kitchen wall behind me. Always,
Mhm.
always. It's just
Mhm.
where we sat. And there was never
Yeah.
any, I don't know how to, there just wasn't any argument. That's just the way it went for years
Right.
and years and years.
And so in the kitchen it was the same thing.
Pretty much, except
So I'm
reverse.
picturing when I get the table and chairs.
If, oh
When
God,
when they're customly made it's a custom-made kitchen and
10
chairs,
weeks.
table and chairs. Oh, I know. I don't
10
know where it's
weeks.
coming from. Like, I'm assuming it's
Did you
coming from China.
how many weeks is it? How since you've or how many
So, we've been in the house for not even 8 weeks yet. So,
congratulations. That's
thanks.
still
It's
pretty good,
been
but
it's been maybe 6 weeks now that we've been in the house. 6, 7 weeks.
can you track
So,
it?
I don't know. I should
Oh,
look to see if I
yes.
can track it.
Although maybe don't, Connie, because it may drive you crazy.
It might drive me crazy, yeah,
Yeah,
especially
maybe
if I
maybe
see
you
it all of
should.
a sudden sitting in their warehouse and I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" Although I should probably do that just in case it is doing that, and I could just say,
Yeah.
like, "Send it now." Because
Oh,
I paid for it.
there is something very exciting about seeing that delivery truck pull up finally with the
Oh my
furniture that you've
god.
been waiting for. The
Yes.
best part.
Yes. But
Until
I
you
know
find out
already
no, until you find out that the piece of furniture that you ordered doesn't fit in your condo, which was
Oh, yes.
disaster. It was a beautiful sofa, and,
Mhm.
oh, Jim and I were heartbroken. That sucked because we
Oh,
didn't
I could
the
imagine.
way that the
Didn't you
building
measure
worked is
it?
Oh, yeah, but we didn't take into consideration that the elevator couldn't fit the size of the couch that we wanted, and not to mention they couldn't take the stairs, and the way that the hall worked, the couch was really long, so it would not have
Right.
been able to bend. You can't bend a couch.
You can't bend a couch.
Right? And they
No.
were
Yeah.
believe me, there's discussion after discussion of how to do this, and in the end, we had to send it back, which was,
Oh my
uh
gosh. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Hopefully,
trying
that
to
doesn't
look
end up like
for
you.
new sofas, in well, that won't for the dining room, it will be or
Yeah, it'll
kitchen,
be
it'll
the
be easy,
yeah.
but we're trying to look for new sofas for the basement, and
Oh,
we have to put in consideration the stairs that go down
you
and then
do,
s 90-degree turn
and
or
lots of people make
angle.
that mistake. It's
Yeah.
it's it's crucial. Now, with is your kitchen is it an eating? It is an eating kitchen, right?
It is a neat-in kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, but is it closed?
It's not well, I mean, it
It's
kinda is. It's not an open concept like the new houses are, right?
right,
Like my old house was, right? It's not
right.
open like that. It is, there is kind of a division with the family room and the kitchen.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I hate open
I
concept.
hate them too.
It to me, it is noisy.
Mhm.
So if you are watching TV, so you're watching a movie or you're watching something and somebody goes into the kitchen to run water or whatever it is
Yep,
that they may do,
yep.
you can no longer hear your TV because all you hear is shh from the water running and or the clanking of dishes
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand this. I hate open concept. I
Oh,
also don't like, so I did see some of the when we were looking at houses, I did see some typical 1980s, 1990s houses because that's what we were looking for,
right.
something in that, which is what we got.
Yeah.
But some of them were so closed off and so
Tight?
tiny
Mm,
and tight, I didn't like that either. So it was like, am I wanting so this is a perfect mix of open and closed.
yeah. I
Yeah.
watched this episode of The Property Brothers, and they were doing this house. It was an older house. It was from the 70s, 60s, 70s. It was a gorgeous house. And what I loved was that the owners were both adamant, don't take down any walls. We
Right.
want to keep the walls. And it had one of those features, which I, I remember seeing the movie. Um, it was with Mary Tyler Moore and
The
Ordinary
sunken
People.
living room?
No, it was the kitchen. It had how you have the staircase to go upstairs to your house, usually from the front
Right.
hall. It had the kitchen, it had stairs that came from the back. So you can take
Mm.
kitchen. You can take
Yeah.
steps up to your bedroom from the back and without having to take the main staircase in the front. And that house had it. And they really at first the design was like, okay, well, we can cut that off, wall it in, like, don't you dare. And I thought I was, like, applauding, like, "Yeah, yeah,"
Yeah.
because I think there's something really special and unique about
About
having
those features,
that's right,
yes.
and I understand the reasons why people would want to have an open place kitchen because their reasons are, we wanna be able to see anybody, entertaining, blah, blah, blah. I'm
It
thinking,
feels bigger.
right, but you're forgetting about the point of entertaining, which is it's to entertain without having people looking into your messy, messy kitchen.
Exactly.
And I think that point has been forgotten for a lot of
Mhm.
people. I don't like having to clean up after everything I do so that it
Yeah.
doesn't look like a disaster, which takes away from the whole entertaining
Yeah.
thing. I guess that does make me old school and I don't apologize for that.
Yeah.
But
The other aspect of having I know we're going off the kitchen table right
no,
now,
it's still part of it.
but having
It's
having the walls
yeah.
of rooms is that you have more place to put art.
Oh yeah.
When it's an open concept, you have no place to put art,
That's true.
and I love having art hanging everywhere, so
Well, Con, I think you might be one of the rare ones that likes to do that. That's the thing,
yeah,
without putting up IKEA furniture, like, or something along those like,
yeah,
it's not something that people tend to think about when it comes
yeah.
to designing their homes, and, yes, you're right, we are veering a little bit off into design and everything else. My whole point was just about having that center of just I of the home that is just about
The
food,
kitchen,
family,
sacred.
and gathering, whether it is for crappy purposes like math, but also for fun stuff too, like playing games, card games and board games and talking and
You know what
sharing
I'm
and
looking
eating.
forward to with this new table?
What?
It's round,
Oh, nice.
and, so it's more intimate, right?
Yeah,
It's we all I mean, obviously, I have 4 kids. Having a round table would not be possible, really. I mean, it could be, but we always had a rectangular one in
yeah.
order to fit everybody. You'd have, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, David and I on either end. But I'm so looking forward to this
Oh,
small round table
I
because we
love
can do more things like
yeah,
cards or a
yeah,
board game or whatever it is on there. I
yeah,
mean, we always played on the kitchen table to begin with. I have a ton of pictures and videos of
yeah,
us and the
yeah,
kids playing different games around
yeah,
the table and stuff like
yeah,
that, which is so much fun,
yeah. I
but
love round
having it
tables.
round is
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I think the great thing about round tables is that everybody's equal.
Yes.
There's no quote unquote head. That's
Right.
very traditional, and that's
Yes.
fine.
Yeah.
I do see the point of it. But
Mhm.
there's something unique about a round table where we're all face everybody is you're
Is
still
facing
facing
each
each
other.
other when you are in a square table,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But the roundness lends itself to a more intimate atmosphere,
Yeah.
much more inclusive of everybody there.
Mhm.
And again, taking away the roles, traditional roles. If somebody's at the top of the table, it's just we're
Yeah.
all together. We really are together. And they're actually really pretty. I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
yeah,
I used to want a round dining table,
me
but in
too.
order to have a
I
round
have
dining
one.
table, you would need a huge room. No, I meant like a
The
big.
big one.
Yeah,
I
the one that
saw
you would
one.
need like a lazy Susan in the middle,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's not called a lazy Susan according to my fabulous friend Sue. It's called, oh my gosh, she had a great word for it because her name is Sue. So she would
right?
call it oh, damn it. I will ask
Yeah.
her again so that I could tell you guys what she calls it. And it's the best. But, but
Something like a handy Susan
it
because,
was it was a contraption designed to to make life easier for dishes. I can't remember what it was. It was really, really good. But, uh, there was this it was in the store, in Toronto, and I kept walking by it, and it was this retro, um, from the '20s, and,
Mm.
Art Deco table. Oh, Connie, it was
Oh,
a really big table with these beautiful, unique chairs, and your whole family, and I'm including your brother and sister and the kids would have absolutely fit around this thing. It was
yeah,
huge. It's huge.
yeah.
I'm like, "Why am I getting that? This is me and Jim." But there's a bigger family around, right? So it would have been
Right,
great.
it's yeah,
But you'd have to have, like you said, a fairly big space to hold something like
to
that, and the
hold
condo
it,
didn't have
yeah,
that, right? But yeah, I do think that having that round table lends itself to a more intimate environment. And I'm wondering for people out there, where you guys have your table. If is it just the dining room? Is it the kitchen table? Do you even have those? Is it,
yeah. Or are you sitting
it's a
at
question.
an island or even just in the family room? Remember how
Different.
during the '70s,
Yeah.
what became popular were those, TV trays that you could put your microwave dinner or your Swanson dinner on top of and eat in front of the TV. I used to think
Oh,
that that would be so neat. We
me
never had that,
too. We
but
didn't
I was like,
either.
"Oh, I want that."
I remember that too, and remember thinking, "Oh, I wonder how this tastes. How good it would be just to have that little tray and sit in front of the TV."
To
But my
sit in
mother
front of the
was not
TV?
having it.
No. Well, we actually once it was probably once a year or something. I don't know. I don't remember how often it would happen, but we would have dinner in front of the TV and we'd watch the Munsters. That's how old you how long ago it was. Black and white, the Munsters. We would watch it and we
Lord.
would eat at the coffee table
Yeah.
and we would eat something that we would call zupetta, which is like sounds disgusting, but it was delicious. It was like old, crusty old bread with warm milk poured over top of it and
Yum.
some sugar and cookies. Oh, it was
Oh,
delish. Every
that
so
doesn't
often
sound
I have it.
disgusting at all,
Oh,
Con.
so good.
What's it
But
called?
it has to be the crusty Italian, like the
Right.
heavy Italian bread, right?
Yep.
And the Sicilian cookies or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
And we would eat that in front of watching the Munsters.
See, what was it called?
Zuppetta.
See, I have to remember that as part of my ongoing Italian,
Yeah, your
lessons here.
your
Zuppetta. There
language
we go.
expansion.
Now, what she said there didn't really revolve around the kitchen table, but the same, the sentiment stands. It's
Around
about
a
eating.
table.
Yeah, there we go.
We were around the coffee table,
Fair
but,
enough.
I mean, that would
Which
happen
could be
once in a
some people's kitchen table,
yes,
right?
that's what I'm saying,
There
like,
you go.
some people were eating at, those little TV trays that you could pull out and put it so that you could sit at the couch. We weren't allowed to do that, but we could do that once a year probably,
Which was
or whatever it
nice.
was.
It was
Yeah.
great. Like, it's one of those. I know it sounds lame, I get it for future generations, but you have no idea. Those little things meant the world to us. It was
Oh,
it was
and it is like
it's a
I
wonderful memory,
remember
eh, Con?
the green carpet
Yeah.
and you could feel the fire from the fireplace behind me. I can feel the whole like, it's just such a vivid memory. And my dad sitting there with his legs tucked under him on the floor as well. My mom would sit on the couch with her legs kinda curled under her as well.
God, what a
Like, I can
life.
see the whole thing and
Yeah.
us kids just kind of, like, all over.
It's all that is part of, like, the warmth and memories of having a place that you're centered around. And it doesn't necessarily, again, I know our conversation is about the kitchen table, but it could be a euphemism for so many other things out there. It's all about that warmth of memory and togetherness and just a place just to kind of hang out and chill and not always about tears and tantrums.
I often picture the different types of kitchen tables.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's the wood table or it's the what was that? The one with the metal around it, the
Remember that?
1950s ones,
Yeah.
the metal trimmer
With yeah.
and then the metal legs, and then you
Yeah.
had the vinyl chairs
And
with
the
the
Formica
metal
top?
arms.
Yeah,
Yes,
of
Formica,
course,
that's right.
Formica, yeah. Oh, Connie, that just brought back
I know. And
whoa.
then you would have that one chair that would have
Damn it, we're
the
old.
the steps that would go down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
We didn't have
I
that
don't
in our
know.
house, but I knew some people that did, and yeah.
Yes,
One day we're gonna have to look that up. That I
I
mean, I'm
know.
actually very curious. Con, could you imagine if you ordered one of those?
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. I would have loved that, but no,
Yeah,
I didn't.
I know,
I
I
just
know, and
ordered a
these days
round wood one with leather
exactly.
chairs.
Well, and even then, it probably would have been expensive too, right? But and
Yes.
that's probably why everybody these days tends to have bars, and that's fine. But I will say though, we do really would love to hear if you have any memories of your own experiences around the kitchen table, right, my friend?
Yes. And you can share those memories with us at the bottom of this podcast in the comments section, whether you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts from.
That's
We'd
right.
love to hear from you.
With that note, I love you, Con. Thank you so much. This was so good, and thank you all for listening. And we will catch you next time. You have a good
Thanks,
day.
Stephen. Love you too.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.